Hello everyone! My name is Katelyn, and if you watched the few videos ago, then you'd know that I'm the oldest daughter of Allie and Jacob Parker, and I am kicking off the new YouTube project, and I couldn't be more excited to share it with you. So basically what we decided to do is, on this channel we're going to do something called book fair. So basically 1 week a month, each staff member here at Starkey & Associates will get on the YouTube channel and read a chapter of a book in a series, and the series will be selected by us unless of course y'all request a certain series. Then we'll come together as a team, discuss it, possibly use that series for that week of the month. So yeah, so basically we're gonna choose a series, and then each of us from each book of the series are going to read one chapter. The goal here is obviously to give you a better understanding of what our books are about, what each specific book is about, what you're getting into when you're reading it, and just to give you a little bit of insight, get you a little bit excited about Allie and Weston's books. They work really hard on them, so this is such an honor to get to read them to you. But yeah, so whenever I was talking to Allie about it, I asked what series that she would like to start with, because again, they are the writers, her and Weston, so it makes sense to ask them which one they want to start with. And I told her that I was listening to an audition for the Pro U series, and I really like book 1. I just really am excited about it, and I myself am going to read it, and I got permission to start with this. So I'm going to start with book 1 in the Pro U series. It's called Breakaway, and it looks really good. It sounds really good, and I'm really excited about it. So I get the pleasure of reading chapter 1 of Breakaway to you. So let's get started, okay? So this book, really quick, is told in 2 point of views. It's told in a girl's point of view and a boy's point of view of the story, like it's double personed, I don't know, but the chapter 1, or like each different chapter switches off between Aubrey and Lucas. So I'm gonna read chapter 1, which happens to be Aubrey's chapter. So let's go. Okay, get on your toes now. The soft tone of Professor McRaven's voice was only more of a reason to press to my toes as hard as I could. Pain shot through my feet and drove up my ankles and legs at a sickening rate. I ignored it. We all did. Better, lift and plie. A groan came from one of the girls beside me, and our instructor snapped her attention from the front of the large dance studio where she stood, ready to attack the weak at any moment. Is there a problem? McRaven's perfectly manicured eyebrow lifted sharply. As I expected, no one responded, nor would I. Like the rest of our dance company at Providence University, I would go home and soak my feet, slather them with ointment, and wrap them in bandages until our next practice. People only see the beauty you put forth, but they don't begin to understand the effort, the emotion, the pain that goes into dancing. Your elegant toe shoes hide the truth well, don't they? The smirk tugging at her thin lips left my stomach sick. It always did. She was a masochist, and yet I was in for the long haul. If I could just catch the right eye at a performance or glean the right attention, then maybe I would be invited to try out for Juilliard School of Dance. It was highly unlikely, as I was a little thicker than most of the beanpoles around me, but I wasn't going to stop dreaming and working toward that dream. Not ever. A whimper lifted up behind me. Oh shiz. There were more rules in Janice McRaven's dance company than I could count, but the number 1 rule was that we never, ever let anyone see us sweat. No fear, no tears, no weakness. It simply was the way she conducted our degree program as the Dean of Arts, and more specifically, the lead advisor for the dance program. I can't. I'm sorry. My shoes are new and my toes are breaking. A petite girl with a tight blonde braid running down her back moved down onto the floor and dropped to her butt as she worked frantically to get her pointe shoe on. Whispers started among the 20 ballerinas holding the long wooden pole that lay between us as we lined up on either side of it 45 minutes before. I couldn't help but glance over at the girl, my heart hurting in my chest as tears rolled down her face. Dang, this is pretty intense. This is scary. She knew good and well that by breaking the line, she was in defiance of the first rule in the room. The pain dancing along my toes and wrapping up my ankles made me want to drop to my rear on the ground beside her, but I wouldn't shed a tear for any of them. It only seemed to make them stronger, and when they caught a scent of weakness. As a third-year student on the dance company, I'd seen some seriously messed up stuff during practice and on traveling events. There was no way I was going to be the center of ridicule at any time soon. The laugh that left Professor McRaven was vile, and it echoed through the room and almost seemed to linger. "What are you doing?" "I'm sorry, please, really. I just can't stand on my toes anymore today. These shoes are—" "Get out now." Her voice softened to the point of sounding like she cared, which was even more disturbing. Providence University was known for their dance program, and they had the perfect boogeyman in place to ensure that everyone not worthy of the honor of being part of it was weeded out. "No, please, my parents would die if I—" "Get out." She turned back to the class and cleared her throat. "Lift and plie." I lifted as high as I could and forced myself into a mental state of getting the work done regardless of the fatigue that spiraled through my arms and legs. It was a game that should have been more enjoyable, like softball was to my best friend Layla, or cheerleading was to some of the girls who helped me keep the unruly hockey team together. My mind darted off to my to-do list, which always seemed to bring in some semblance of comfort. I wasn't emotionally connected to anyone in the dance program because it was simply easier that way. We weren't all going to make it to our senior season in the program, and most of the girls were far more concerned with how they looked than who they were. Not my kind of people in the slightest. As Queen Bee, a stupid name assigned by the hockey team of the Ice Queens, I was in charge of making sure their party time for the season was properly funded and their groupies were at every event. Why I let my twin brother Jace muscle me into a stupid position was beyond me, but it was fun most of the days of the week. Getting to see Lucas White made it well worth my time and attention. Lucas White. Butterflies did their own lift and plie in my stomach and up the cavity of my chest as tingles ran down my lower back. He had to be the most beautiful man I'd ever seen. To describe him as sexy or hot would be rather appropriate, and yet he was far more than that. As the senior captain of the hockey team at Pro U, he was mature, responsible, and super demanding. Wish he would demand me into his bedroom to take out his stress on my body. Just don't touch the feet. No feet. Okay. A smirk tugged at my lips, but I forced the thought of Lucas away. An expression would only gain me the attention of the Nazi walking around the room looking for blood to spill. "One at a time now, I want to check your positioning and your posture." A collective groan should have lifted in the room, but no one would ever think to utter a single word unless they were spoken to. Dance wasn't about expressing oneself, or at least not in the company of others. It was structure, elegance, a reminder of the refined nature of humanity. Or to them it was. To me it was a complete freedom to express my heart in ways that words wouldn't do justice. Whether greatness ever came calling or not, I would open my own dance studio here in Providence, Rhode Island one day. My studio would be nothing like the stuffy, cold atmosphere of all the ones I'd haunted over my 16 years of dancing. "Excellent, Aubrey. Everyone but Aubrey fall out." Her hand pressed into my lower back and the other rested just below my breast. "Look at the way her back curves just so. Gather around me now." I took shallow breaths and remained focused on a painting that hung on the wall ahead of me. The dancers in it were wrapped up together in an embrace that spoke of love and lust all in the same moment. I let the beauty of it comfort me as I stood on display for everyone to ogle at. It was something I was getting rather used to. Her chin is lifted beautifully, her shoulders rounded, her fingers curved just so. The professor glanced around and moved back, releasing me. "Aubrey, lift and plie." I did as I was asked to do, with supreme concentration to do it perfectly. Where I knew McRaven was impressed with my skill and level of detail on the dance floor, I was also aware that she had no favorites. She didn't like anyone. Dang, this lady sounds real mean. Excellent. Even with her being a little bigger than I'd like, and her breasts being ungodly large for a dancer, still beautiful posture and form. She clapped her hands and walked from the room. Class dismissed. I dropped down off my toes and let out a ragged breath. Someone should have come up to me and pat me on the back and reassure me that I was perfectly fit and my boobs were a great asset, and yet no one said a word to me. 3 years of dancing beside most of the girls in the room, and not a word. After gathering my stuff, I bypassed the locker room and walked out in the chilly late afternoon. My brother's smile caused me to return the gesture. I didn't need any of those girls in the room behind me. I had my twin brother, my best friend, and the hockey team to remind me that I was worthy of someone's time and energy. The dance building was on the far northern side of campus and sat perched on a hill as if to draw attention to the fact that Providence had an outstanding program of top-notch performers at its beck and call, and it did. "I saw you through the window over there. Was she being mean again?" Jay stood up and reached for my backpack. "No, well, other than calling me a fat cow with big udders, no." I pushed him away. He was too good of a guy most of the days. I couldn't figure out why in the world he wasn't dating, but it wasn't a conversation he would appreciate me bringing up. No one would ever guess that under all his muscle and alpha male persona, he was a sweetheart, a teddy bear, the occasional wuss. "A fat cow, That's interesting. I wonder what she thinks about the other 90% of college kids walking around the campus." He jogged to his side of his black Mustang and unlocked the doors. "You are one of the skinniest girls I know." I brushed my hands over my sides and cupped my hips as I lifted my eyebrows at him. "Other 90%? No. If you aren't in dance, you don't exist." "Well, dang. Smack my ass and call me irrelevant." He got in and buckled up as I laughed at him. "Where are we going? Is the party at the ice house still on for tonight?" I reached up and turned on the radio as he started the car. "Yeah, you ordered the kegs, right?" He pulled open a protein bar from the side door and tossed it to me. "Open that and we can split it." I didn't order them, but Dana did, I did as he asked and smiled as he growled. "Dana? Well, I guess she's better than any of the other hockey hussies in your group." He took half the bar and ate it greedily. "My group?" I laughed and took a small bite, grimacing at the nastiness of it. "They belong to you guys. I just try to lead them from time to time." "Good luck with that job." He pulled up in front of my dorm and glanced out the front window. "You bringing Layla tonight?" "Of course, but why do you care?" I opened the door and stifled a chuckle that pressed against my teeth. He'd always had a slight crush on my best friend, but for some odd reason he'd never done anything about it, even when she'd wanted him to in our teenage years. "I don't care. I just figured that if you got sloppy drunk again, it would be nice to turn you over to someone I trust." He shrugged, but wouldn't look over at me. "Okay, how about this?" I leaned down and pressed my hands on the seat. "Turn me over to Lucas and just make sure I have an oxygen mask and a handful of condoms for the night." "What? Heck no." Jace jerked his head toward me and pinned me with a hard stare. "No dating the hockey guys. And no sleeping with them. You might be head of the Ice Queens, but you aren't acting like one of them. Got it?" I rolled my eyes, moved back, and closed the door without another word. He had nothing to worry about, and he knew it. I respected myself a little too much to spread my legs for the guys on the team like the Ice Queens did. Now, if Lucas came a-calling. Fellas, ladies, it ends with a ... So I think we can all assume where she's going with that. But yeah, this sounds like a really good book. I definitely want to know what happens with the love story and with her dancing, and I want to know if Aubrey and Lucas end up together, and I want to know if Layla and Jace end up together, because obviously there's an underlying love story there somewhere, or else, I mean, he's been in love with her best friend since they were kids, so come on. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm definitely going to read this book. You should too. We can read it together. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed chapter 1 of the book. If you did, I will have the book link down below. You can go to Amazon and get you a copy, and we can read it together. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Again, this week, all of the staff here at Starkey & Associates will be coming on the channel, reading a chapter of each book in the Pro U series. This is book 1. It's all upside down, but it's called Breakaway, and it looks really good. Thank you so much. Have a great day.